Hey, friends.
Hey y'all,
It's just Britt.
and it's T, aka Shalio.
Yes. And we're back with another podcast.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
we are.
And T's going to
Um,
kick it off with the topic for today's conversation.
sure. Okay, so we were discussing about um, limitations or barriers in comedy. Should there be like limitations and or boundaries where we shouldn't cross
When it comes to comedy.
when it comes to comedy, when it comes to stand up, jokes, things like that. So, Britt, you were talking about the Ti. First of all, I didn't even know that Ti was going to be doing stand up, and this guy has so many careers. Um,
Exactly. Which I'm not mad about, but
no, there's nothing wrong. I mean, have all the hustles that you can get to make money. I get it. Um,
right. Um but yeah, so basically everyone at this point probably already heard about the situation between Will Smith and Chris Rock, and then
mhm,
now this week's situation with Ti. And I do not have. I was trying to look up her name, but my it's just not working for me. Um, but another lady who was in the comedy scene. What is her name? Okay, I found it. Her name is She's Laura NK. And they had got into it when she was doing her stand up. Sorry, I'm all over the place. When she was doing her stand up performance, and apparently Ti kicked in, started calling her allegedly all types of bees, and then was getting real personal, telling her shut the f up. And where she responded, basically asking him about the allegations, his sexual assault allegations.
mhm,
And so then he went left, like real sour. Um, it was like denying the allegations, of course, getting really
mhm,
angry that she even brought it up. And it's like, why would you bring that up at a time like this? Blah 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 blah. And that what had us in the conversation. Brittany can't speak today, apparently. That's what brought up the conversation between me and T, where it was like, well, you know what? It's not like she made a joke about sexual allegations. She asked him about the allegations, like, are you guilty, in a sense, because that was a way to get back at him based on the stuff he was saying to her. But then he took it emotionally, and people in the comment section were saying, like some people were going with her, and other people were saying, well, you should mention that at a time like this. But
mhm.
then let's talk about the jokes that they make fun of fat people all the time, black people, all types of races, and all of a sudden now everyone's making everyone censor their
Right.
you speak my mouth, and I'm all over
It's
the
okay.
place.
Yeah. Now there's so much
I'm back.
censorship in comedy. At least that's what I feel like they've been trying to do for the last couple of years is desensitize certain types of, you know, jokes and um, generally, circling around a certain types of people, like i.e. with sexuality or um, with gender, like, like females. The Me Too movement has made it really hard for male um, comedians to make fun of women in a sexual manner. Um, Things that used to be funny all the time, i.e., you know, fat people, overweight people, it's always been the butt end of every joke. But no one
Right,
stands up for fat people
right.
um,
They never started a
because,
movement, never nothing.
yeah,
Like,
no one ever stands up
canceling
for.
anybody.
No, nobody gets canceled. Overweight people are always and will always be the butt end of every joke because it's funny to be fat.
Apparently,
Um, it's unhealthy to be fat. Um, we choose this lifestyle.
you
There's
know,
so many things that being fat is just your fault, and so it's funny, but it's not funny. And nobody sticks up for fat people the way that they stick up for the LGBTQ community. They stand up for each other, and when you know, fat people do stand up for each other, we always get knocked back down because um,
They
it's not
always gonna hit you
healthy.
with the same line. Exactly. Because they
Yeah,
always hit the
yeah,
same line. So they assume everyone that's fat is,
it's unhealthy.
yeah, is unhealthy, which a lot of times I know personally when it came to my smaller friends, they have a lot more health issues than me. Like
Yeah, I mean,
high blood
like,
pressure, high cholesterol, all that type of stuff. Being
yeah,
fat
my
isn't.
grandfather was a diabetic, had high blood pressure and high cholesterol. My grandfather was all of like 4'11" and 120 something pounds.
Dang, he was short.
Yeah, yeah, he was short and he was thin and he had diabetes. He had high blood pressure. He had high cholesterol. There's something called genetics that, believe it or not, despite what people think, plays a huge role in your health. I know
Exactly.
lots of people, including doctors, who suffer from high cholesterol and kidney disease, which has nothing to do with your actual weight, has everything to do with your genes and your genetics. So
Exactly.
um, we can, shut people down all the time online who are doctors via web, online only,
WebMD or
web
Google
MD,
Doctor.
Google doctors. But really, they just don't like the way you look, and that's really what it is in a nutshell.
Hmm.
Has nothing else to do with it.
And
But
we were free
again,
game though. Free game. It was not a
right,
problem. Like
right,
it was a guarantee. If you were a fat person and you went to a show, you were gonna get picked on if you sat in the front
exactly,
seat. Like
absolutely,
so, it wasn't like a problem because they used that and people made money off of fat people. On top of
yeah.
that, black people jokes. Look at
I mean,
Dave Chappelle. His
yeah,
show back in the day, he literally made a whole racist ass uh episode on his Dave Chappelle show. I ain't
hmm,
gonna lie, I laugh. I laugh at all that stuff, you know. But
yeah,
people will become all of a sudden. But it's like the same thing though. It
yeah.
wasn't an
It's
issue when they're making
hmm,
fun of black people, fat people, um, ugly people. But now it's
hmm,
becoming an issue when you make fun of anyone that has like their gender or their sexuality.
hmm,
You get lawsuits, you get canceled.
right,
Also the situation with Will Smith, yeah, I mean with Jada and her hair and she has alopecia, which I get like medical stuff should be completely off the table anyway.
right. Because
Um,
you wouldn't want to make fun of somebody that has cancer,
right,
like,
but in the same token, like we were saying, but being fat can come from health issues as well. But
right,
it wasn't a problem. That's what like makes it like keep it all the way on one level for everybody.
right,
If that's the case,
right.
um,
But
but
comedy used to be the safe space where people could tell these jokes,
right,
and there was no off limits. Everybody could get it. You know what I mean?
right, you
And
wasn't butt hurt at the end because I
at the
mean,
end of the day, it's just quote unquote jokes.
right,
But that never took away from the fact that words do hurt. They always have.
yeah, they
I
do,
mean, people, just like, back in the day, white people, use the word nigger as a way to dehumanize black people. Um, so I understand that, where people come from when they're saying, it's not always funny. Because, I mean, the fat jokes were not always funny. I mean, growing up being teased or bullied, oh, you're fat. Nah, nah, nah. Okay, so what? That's it.
right.
That's all you got is
Some
I'm
of them
fat.
jokes was really corny and really they didn't even
Right.
put much work in it. They just,
Right. Because all you had to do was say was fat. And that was
mm-hmm,
like, ha ha ha, funny. But then it's like, it's not really funny. Like, oh my gosh, your mom is so fat. She has to wear the equator is her belt size. Like, it's not even funny, though.
hey, bro, what? That's so
Yeah.
whack. Like, it don't even make sense. Or like the earthquake jokes or anything that's
Yeah.
big or anything falling, Or they call you a fat
Right.
character or something like that, and all of a sudden
Right.
that shit, all you have to do is say precious.
Like, precious.
Like
Precious.
what?
Yeah.
Where's the joke? Come harder. Try.
Right.
You know,
Right.
put some work in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all, big people, like, when they run, they're all out of breath. I've seen some small people run and out of breath because they're out of shape. It's called being
Yeah.
out of shape.
Exactly.
Like, heavy set people do yoga, Pilates, like, they do things. They're physical, they can get physically active and stuff. It's really just a personal thing. But um
I feel like.
just to
Oh yeah.
bring it back, to the, the comedy aspect of it, um I guess I want to know, like, where are the safe spaces now for comedians? Because, like, yeah, I agree that, okay, they're just jokes and it should just be jokes, but I mean, let's keep it real. People have been playing, like, saying jokes all the time about R. Kelly. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so
I
Ti
mean,
got
people go
upset about
viral
the
off of those
allegations.
jokes.
Yeah, you're upset about the situation with your allegations, but people are gonna make fun of and poke fun with it. Like, that's what happens. I mean, they've done it to Cat Williams, like, a lot of people.
Oh yeah, especially Cat
So
Williams. Yeah, and the
yeah.
fact that Ti really got upset like that and started calling that girl out of her name and took it personal
Hmm.
in a situation when he was just going on her. Even though I just saw, like, before we started him, that he attempted to try to make it positive, whatever he tried to twist it into. My thing
Hmm.
is, you going into being a comedian and you don't even have thick skin, you're failing already, because people are already gonna complain on the outside. But for you to be another comedian and complaining because she brought up something, you
Yeah.
fail right there, because you're rooting with the same, the people that are complaining and being sensitive about everything.
Yeah.
I personally, I get that stuff can hurt your feelings, right? Because, like, yeah, if it was personally to you, but if a comedian is talking about fat people and you take it personal, there's something deeper you need to deal with. If they're talking about a black person and you take it personal, you need to deal with that, right?
Hmm.
Because I like raunchy jokes. I like jokes that are really like, oh, that's fucked up. But it's funny, not no personal, like, your mother Susie blah 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 did this, you know what I mean, like that, like, that's direct. But just general jokes and stuff like that, they should be free to be able to make jokes, like, cause that's what makes, where, what else are they gonna joke about?
Right.
I mean, they should have be able to also make jokes without being mean to people. But a lot of the times, all that kind of go hand in hand. They're just probably going on and on. After a while, you kind of run out of content. You're gonna have to start some basic jokes. But I'm just saying, you gotta
Right.
have some quality jokes with it too, though. Like we were saying, not the basic as, "Oh, you're fat," haha. No,
Hmm.
make some shit that's gonna make me laugh and think, you know what? I done did some fat shit like that before. That's true,
Right.
and I'm gonna laugh
Yeah.
at it, or whatever the case is. Ugly jokes, whatever it is, like, where and what else are they supposed to do?
Right.
Don't
Exactly.
go to those scenes if you don't want to experience it.
Right. Because some of those things are actually really funny.
Right.
So it just, yeah. Poking fun at particular people usually tends to be what upsets a lot of people. Like when somebody specifically calls you out,
And that makes
um,
sense. That's personal.
because nobody wants to be specifically called out on something.
Right.
Um, um, but with that said, I do believe that celebrities and even just regular people have always been, like, in comedy and in jokes. I mean, look at Michael Jackson. They make fun of Michael Jackson all the time. Oh, he's white. Oh, he's black. Oh, he messes with little kids. Things like that. Like, I mean, and people just laughed at it. Like, they just laughed at it. Do you think his family likes those jokes? Probably not.
Right.
Are they going to do something about it? Probably not. I mean, because if they were, they would have.
Right. But you can't
And
censor people. It would be an
yeah,
impossible thing to do. There's
yeah,
no way you could censor anyone.
yeah, it's
Um,
hard. And honestly, at the end of the day,
unless you
it's
sue
your
them, of
right.
course.
It's our right as human beings to, freedom of speech is a right. That's what we are, um, guaranteed, being United States citizens.
Right.
Also, it does not say freedom of speech unless you're going to hurt somebody's feelings, then it's a crime. It
Right.
doesn't say that. Now, do you want to say things like, you know, kill yourself? No, because then
Then that is a crime, right?
it becomes a crime. Like, if you're
Yeah.
telling someone to commit a crime verbally, then it's a crime.
Right.
But I mean, like,
But talking about somebody didn't,
right.
like,
I mean, a
that's
long
different.
time ago, everything was, like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't, like, comedy was uncensored. It
Mhm.
was raunchy. It was hardcore. It was funny. I mean, like, and I was also thinking back to how being fat has always been like the butt end of every joke and funny. I'm gonna have to say Eddie Murphy has really made being fat funny. I mean, there's Nutty Professor, the Clumps,
Mhm.
Respucia from what was that movie Respucia was on with him?
Norbit.
Norbit. Um,
Respucia.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence made it
Look
funny
at
with
Precious.
yeah. And Precious wasn't even a comedy.
It wasn't, but had some comedy aspects, like her running with a fucking bucket of chicken. Like,
Oh
you
yeah.
fucked up. Ain't no like what?
Yeah. Big Mama's House with Martin Lawrence. You know, again, being fat was supposed to be funny, like to
Right.
make fun of fat people. And we laughed at it. I mean, I definitely laughed at
I did too. I
Vespuccia
just
and
gonna lie.
Orbit. Are you wearing bottoms? Of course I'm wearing bottoms. You know what I mean? Like, that
Yeah.
shit was funny because why would I walk around with no drawers on? Like, come on, people, like, use
Right.
your brain.
The
Like,
dumbest shit.
I mean, yes, some of that stuff was funny. Um, but is it always funny? No, because I don't think the Clumps movie was really that funny. Were they funny in the first like movie of the Nutty Professor? Yeah, because it was like
Yeah.
unexpected. You didn't know what you were gonna get. But then
Right.
when you keep making fun of the same stuff, it becomes like
It's dragged out. And
right.
then it's
It's
like you're not
yeah,
making me laugh. Now you're literally showing that you have like an actual hatred. It's different if you're just fucking with us and making a little joke here and there, a little jokey joke. But
yeah,
then now it's like you're targeting and you're also getting money out of this.
exactly. Yeah,
Like yeah.
yeah. So it becomes less funny and more so like okay, I get the joke, but it's not funny anymore.
Right.
Like let's move on to the next thing. Um, so yeah, I mean that's where that was my take on it was that it should be there should be a safe space in comedy, but at some point in time, certain jokes just aren't funny anymore, and it's time to just come up with something different.
Right.
You know, it's almost like the TikTok trend that's going on right now with everybody saying that they're in support of like big girls and there's like this big girl TikTok and there's like all these guys that look really good and oh I like my women BBW and you gotta be two something to do something. Like it sounds nice, but like come on, like really what's going on here? Like
Right. We should definitely make that another topic because actually, like, I know we just went from like jokes and then we
mm-hmm,
kind of went directly to big girl talk because we're both big girls. So that's why we're talking about
mm-hmm,
that. If anyone was listening, like, how did we go from that question to like focusing
yeah,
solely on this because it's like relevant to us.
yeah.
But I'm really glad you mentioned it because I don't know for you personally, but me, I hate those content when it
I
comes to
hate
like
it.
those people because I'm like, you're just using us to get views, to get the followers,
It
to get all this
bothers me because
peripheral
are
stuff.
you
Like,
genuine about it or you're doing it to get views and likes?
hey, look, this is about to be a topic we finna do today. Actually, we're
Okay.
gonna do that on the next podcast, so we can stop this one, and then
Okay. Yeah,
make that a
definitely.
whole thing because that just got me hyped.
Yes, because I got a lot.
Yes,
I
I
got
got
a
a
lot
lot to
about
say
that.
too.
Like I see that
Um,
stuff all the time, and it's just really like it triggers me because it's
it
like,
do
come on now. Like it's different when we're BBWs and we're like doing it for ourselves because
right,
that's who we are,
right,
and we're supporting each other. And you know, disclaimer: just because you support a BBW does not mean that you are pro or whatever you guys say when you're saying we're promoting obesity. I don't think you can promote obesity.
you can't. I
That's
think you can just promote loving your skin that you're in.
right.
Like, why
And
shouldn't we?
not assuming that people who love the skin that they're in doesn't mean that they want to live a better, healthier life. And stop
Exactly.
assuming that you know people based off of being okay and comfortable in their skin. Because in order to make
Okay.
changes with your life, you have to love yourself. You can't make
Exactly.
any big changes in your life until you love yourself.
Right. Because if
So
not, then you're gonna be small with body morphia and some other issues you have going
yeah,
on. That's it, right? Body morphia, is that what it's called?
dysmorphia.
Dysmorphia. I knew I was missing
Yes.
something there, but yeah, body dysmorphia, all that, and have insecure problems, and you might end up getting big again. So
Yeah.
But we're gonna stop here because you're
Yes.
adding more stuff to good content that we finna
That we
put
gonna
out
put in the
there.
next one. In the next
Yeah.
one. So
So
yes.
thank you for listening. If you did listen to the, checked out this podcast with T and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And stay tuned for this next topic because it's coming. It really is.
Yes.
We out.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.